In a quick turn of events, what once was promoted as a potential economic boom to the state of Rhode Island has now turned into a liability, as the lead developer and the state are not generating funds for a second-tier 10,000-seat stadium to be completed in Pawtucket. Earlier this month, multiple media outlets reported that the state was going to hold public funds intended to fund construction. The state has done such as Virtuous Partners have failed to garner an investor to cover the second half of the $50 million they're supposed to provide for the project. This move comes after a time where Governor Dan McKee became the tiebreaker in a vote last summer in determining taxpayer financial support for construction of the stadium. Today, the same governor is pointing fingers to the federal government as to why construction is on life support. In a quote provided by Patrick Anderson of the Providence Journal, McKee stated, "What the Fed is doing, accelerating interest rates, is not in the best interest of the people of Rhode Island. They need to stop the increases and start decreasing." What the governor didn't state, however, was his awareness of inflation that was already affecting the construction industry before the USL's groundbreaking ceremony in August of 2022. Neil DeMoss, author of Feel the Scheme, has been among the few to rebuke the governor's plan way before Virtuous Partner, the lead construction company, was given the green light to build. On his Patreon site, he stated, "Some news about the $124 million USL soccer stadium that Pawtucket is putting more than $80 million into after being jilted by its minor league baseball team when Worcester came calling with plans to build a $160 million stadium that looks like a shipping container and now may not be built at all. And while you may hope that Rhode Island officials came to their senses that trying to pay off $2.1 million a year in construction debt payments with $565,000 a year in tax revenues was a terrible idea, it's actually more boring reasons like rising interest rates and the private developer partners turning out not to have the money they said they would have." Fox Providence reported city officials are hitting the pause button on issuing $27 million in public bonds to help fund the 10,000-seat stadium, saying uncertain financial conditions have so far prevented them from pulling the trigger. There's currently no timeline for when the deal will close, city officials said. The city's top priority has always been protecting taxpayers, Pawtucket spokesperson Grace Vall said in a statement, confirming the initial goal was to issue the bonds by February. Given the market challenges of last year, including a global pandemic, rising interest rates, tighter market conditions, and a looming banking crisis, the state financing and private debt components of the capital stack have not made fiscal sense to close the deal to date, she added. Virtuous Partners was supposed to put $50 million into the project. The first $25 million was used to clearing the area and laying the foundation for the building. They're still struggling to come up with the second $25 million. Reports state they are still looking for investors to help with the funding. Pawtucket Mayor Don Gribian, the USL's biggest ally for a stadium in the city, have not made comments on the situation, as recent reports state that he's considering a run for Congress. Rhode Island FC, a club aspiring to start USL Championship play in 2024, is reportedly looking for alternate locations to avoid a delay in their inaugural season. Word out of the United States of America is that Major League Soccer, the highest league level of professional soccer played in the country, is considering a full league bid for Lionel Messi this summer. One that will require all 29 club owners to pitch in money to fund the salary of the global football icon. Messi would then have his choice of which MLS team he wants to play for. Inter Miami CF has been the only MLS team reportedly interested in Messi, but with this new ideal, the door now opens for other major clubs in the country such as LAFC, Seattle Sounders, DC United, and New York City Football Club to recruit him. Lionel is also garnering interest from his former club Barcelona. However, due to the club's current financial crisis, they're hoping Messi will agree to a lower salary, with lost funds being made up from incentives and non-salary assets. Messi's current contract with Paris Saint-Germain ends in June. Bafana will return to the Africa Cup of Nations after defeating Liberia 2-1 on Tuesday in Monrovia. This comes after the Lone Star came from behind to force a 2-2 draw in Soweto in the first leg. The away goal rule applies in the African Cup qualifiers. South Africa advanced by a 4-3 aggregate advantage. Bafana, who haven't qualified for the FIFA World Cup since 2010, looks to return back to a respectable team. The African Cup of Nations was supposed to take place this summer in Cote d'Ivoire, but has been postponed to January 2024 due to weather.
I just want the bankroll. Came a long way, still got a long way to go. Shorty says she love me, I'm like, okay if you say so. Really, I ain't got no time to chase though. Told them I'm conflicted, ain't nobody wanna listen. I got plenty vices, tryna get them out my system. I've been antisocial, I'm just tryna keep my distance. Ain't no killer, but don't push me, cause I promise I've been tempted.